Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of Psycho Kreig and the Fantastic Fustercluck. As crazy as that name is, it fits Borderlands 3 to a T, and it was quite a bit of fun to play through it on stream today. Today I will, of course, be going through the plot, environments, lore, details, and bosses of the DLC, and I'll be going over each individually as well as a general overview. All the footage is taken from my twitch.tv stream, twitch.tv/fearlessfalcon. So, without any further ado, let's get on with the show, starting with plot. The plot of the DLC is, well, on par with Borderlands. Tannis, in her infinite wisdom, has decided to try and find out why psychos are, well, psycho, and seems to think that all psychos share a dreamscape called Valhalla, which makes no logical sense given my neuroscience background, but whatever. As the Vault Hunters delve into the mind of Kreig, they are met with both the psychotic and sane versions of his mind, and you need to go through 3 different realms to retrieve the keys to unlock the door to Valhalla and fight the boss of the DLC. All in all, it's just the crazy, normal, insane stuff that Borderlands 3 and the Borderlands series as a whole is known for, although given the lack of characters between only really Tannis and the 2 Kreigs, there isn't really too much to go off on as far as comedy or enjoyment, although it does give some nice backstory as to how Kreig became a psycho and how he joined the Crimson Raiders. The environments of the DLC are actually pretty diverse this time, thanks to the fact that it takes place in a mindscape and everything can be as chaotic as the devs want. There's actually quite a wide variety. You've got the first world that I've come to call Meat World, where everything is distorted and full of fleshy constructs that constantly stare at you with creepy moving eyes. The second world, which is a maddening warped train station, which is based off of the train from the first game where Kreig met Maya, which also includes a dream version of Maya, who's actually fun to hang out with. And the third world, which is a decrepit Hyperion laboratory where Kreig first became, well, psychotic through maddening experiences. Overall, though, the environments were diverse but equally creepy, and I frankly enjoyed other environments from the other DLCs more. Still, it was pretty fun. Alright, let's talk about the lore. There's not actually too much to unpack here, as we really only see 3 things. The first is, of course, how Kreig sees the other Crimson Raiders in the first segment. The second segment shows us how he sees Maya, and the third shows us, well, the most juicy part of the lore, how Kreig became psychotic in the first place, as we're introduced to a new character, Dr. Benedict, a Hyperion scientist who was probably less ethical than any scientist I've ever heard of, ever. Let's be honest though, Handsome Jack wasn't exactly too big on ethics, and Benedict had free reign to do pretty much whatever he wanted to whoever he wanted, as long as they weren't a Hyperion exec. I can't really talk more about that without spoiling most of the plotline, even though there isn't too much. But it was still nice to see a bit of history and how Kreig sees the world. That being said, I kind of preferred some of the other areas of the DLCs more when it came to lore, especially seeing Timothy in the first DLC pack. Now, let's talk about details and minutiae that need addressing. As a neuroscientist background myself, I was very excited to see what kind of psychology stuff they would include, and I was very happy to see both the allegory of the cave and a Rorschach inkblot test included as minor quest lines. In fact, the interactions between Sane and Psycho Kreig were often quite comical in a way. But more importantly, as far as details go, there's, again, not too much to deal with, but this is one of the few times that I've actually gotten lost on a Borderlands map. In the third segment, which you can actually see here, there are some times where you need to backtrack, and I actually did have to confront the map on several occasions to try and find out where I had to go. This usually doesn't happen, as I can usually just use the minimap, so it was honestly a little disheartening to see that the level design was a little too chaotic to be, well, frankly, enjoyable. Although, it was still fun to fight my way through each unique environment and see exactly how everything looked through a corrupted point of view, it was a little off. Lastly, we need to talk about the bosses. I'll be completely honest with you guys, the bosses in this DLC weren't exactly stellar. While each one was interesting in their own right and provided a bit of lore in and of themselves, most of them only had 2 phases at that, and were pretty predictable in their patterns. While other bosses like the Handsome Jackpot's Jack Robot and the Ruiner from the 3rd DLC both provided an incredible experience by mixing it up with recharging health and changing the battlefield respectively, these bosses didn't really do too much and I found it a little too easy to deal with. Maybe it's just because I wasn't playing on Mayhem like I usually do, but I was trying to enjoy the story as a whole and it just didn't really come off as good. Lackluster. Still fun, but lackluster. At the end of the day, if you have Borderlands 3 and want more of Borderlands 3 because you enjoyed it, I would definitely recommend getting Psycho Kreig and the Fantastic Fustercluck. It may be a little short and slightly less enjoyable than the other 3 DLC packs, but you already have it if you have the Season Pass, and if you don't, it's more the same for a pretty reasonable price in my opinion. The new weapons it provides are fun to play with, the lore it gives definitely fill in some gaps that we've been looking for a while, and just seeing Kreig return was a lot of fun, as well as getting to go through a completely crazy mindscape where the rules of physics don't exactly apply. However short it may have been, I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm definitely looking forward to going back and farming all of the legendaries that I haven't even found all of them yet. So, play it, and, maybe let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Maybe you found something I didn't. Maybe you found another way to enjoy things. Maybe there's the Invincible boss that none of us have found yet, and I need to go fight. And, lose to repeatedly, because I'm good, but not that good. Still, it was a lot of fun playing through this, and it was good to come back to Borderlands 3, so I give this a 6 out of 10, as far as the DLC goes. Until next time, stick around, and I'll see you when I see you. Till then, this is Fearless Falcon, signing off. See you later.